Hey, it's Kawan here, and today we're talking about meditation. As you can tell from the virtual background that I got going on. um, I started meditating way back when it wasn't cool to talk about meditation. Mm, Over the years, I think meditation has become a lot more mainstream, and people are beginning to see the benefits of meditating every day. Mm, So a lot of people have made videos about meditation, and there's no shortage of content out there, but more or less they all seem kind of similar to me, in the sense that most of them are talking about how you meditate and what the benefits are. They tell you to sit down cross-legged in a quiet place with your eyes closed and just watch either your breath come in and out or watch your thoughts as they come and go, right? So this is what you commonly hear about meditation. But today I wanted to share my own experience, which, as far as I know, is going to sound a little different to all the stuff that's out there. So I started meditating many years ago when I was looking for some answers to some of the big questions I had about life, like who I am as a person, who am I, what is the meaning of life, what am I doing here, what is my place in the universe. And when you go down that rabbit hole, quickly, I think you'll find your way to Buddhism and meditation as the practice that's being, enshrined by the Buddhist philosophy. And there are many things I discovered along the way. But long story short, I think meditation is a really, really powerful tool, regardless of your intentions. Some people, they begin their meditation journey because they want to be more productive. They want to have a better focus, purely for very practical reasons to, increase their efficiency and get better at completing their job or something like that. Now, for other people, the reason might be much more spiritual, much more meta, is to sort of discover themselves, understand the true nature of who you are as a person. But regardless, meditation is a very powerful tool. When I try to explain meditation to people, I like to break it down into two phases. And the first phase is what I call cleaning out your inbox, which is this idea that all of us have, things, events, people that we haven't dealt with. So we file them away into this section of the inbox, into our email, but we haven't properly dealt with them. So, in life, generally, there are two types of people. There's the type of people who clean out their inbox each day and make sure it gets to zero before they go to sleep. And there is the other type of people who basically, are more than happy to have their email inboxes blow up to some crazy number. I've had friends who have not hundreds, tens of thousands of emails unopened, right? And that doesn't bother them. So I think that's all fine for, for your actual inbox. But when it comes to the mind, I think it becomes not such a good idea if you have an inbox that's full of junk that you haven't dealt with for a long time. And that's precisely the reason why when people start to meditate, and at the very beginning, a lot of people find great difficulty in meditating, because I feel like one of the main reasons is because there's so much crap that they haven't dealt with for so long that when they do find some time to be quiet and alone and close their eyes, all of this stuff, starts surfacing back up, and that's not pleasant, that's not comfortable, and people don't want to deal with that. So, and that's why I say, like, often as you begin on this journey, meditation is always the most difficult at the start, because it requires you to deal with your mind, deal with the stuff that you filed away. But basically, in the process of cleaning out your inbox, that is often uncomfortable and uneasy for people. So that's step number one, and which is why oftentimes when people talk about meditation, they want you to set up this discipline, to create this setting where it maximizes your chance of being able to overcome the hurdle of dealing with your own crap that you've left unaddressed in your mind for so long. So So I would likewise recommend the same. If you've never meditated before, then I think the rational starting point will be to get an app like Calm or Headspace or Sam Harris's Waking Up, and do it in a sequential way where basically, you start slow and steady, say no more than 5 minutes a day, then you work your way up to about an hour a day, let's say, depending on what you're trying to achieve. Once you get past the first phase, which is about cleaning out your inbox, once you do feel like you managed to get your inbox down back to zero, that's where the fun begins, really, because phase number 2 is much more open. It's much more unstructured, and it really depends on your intention. So if you're someone that's just looking to increase your productivity at work, then it could be that you just continue to meditate for half an hour a day, each day in the morning, and that would more than suffice. But if your intention is to develop a higher awareness and higher understanding of yourself, then maybe the work is much more involved than, let's say, the guy that's trying to do a little bit better at work. My experience has been, I've tried all sorts of different approaches, from the mantra-based meditation to silent meditation to mindfulness meditation, which is all about trying to focus and be aware of your body, to cold showers, cold exposures. There's nothing that sharpens and focuses the mind like cold water being dripped on your body. I've also tried breathing techniques and chanting based meditation as well. But basically, where I'm at on my journey is about a year and a half and 2 years ago. One day I stopped meditating. I had a very disciplined routine in the morning. I took up journaling to make sure that I put in my time every day. I know exactly how many minutes I meditated each day. And then after a few months, I realized one day I just naturally stopped meditating. And I didn't really even notice it at first. But after some time, I'm like, hey, how come I'm not doing that thing anymore, right? And then what I started to notice is that I acquired a new toolkit, a new skill in my toolkit, which is I'm able to consciously not think about anything. And it may seem like a very simple thing, but I assure you, try it out for yourself. If you just sit there and close your eyes, right? How long can you go without having a thought come into your head? Just try it out for yourself. So one day I realized that as long as I kind of focused, I placed my attention on trying not to think, then nothing will come up. I'm just kind of like empty, right? For as long as I can sort of maintain this intentionality. So I started playing games with myself where, let's say I'm driving to a friend's place and it takes half an hour to get there. I'd be driving, but at the same time, I'd be playing this game with myself where I would watch myself, and the sensation feels kind of like, imagine you're in a game, right? Like GTA, and you're controlling a character. So it's kind of like you're watching yourself from this third-party perspective. And so each time, a thought arises or is about to arise, the guy at the top can sort of call it out and be like, hey, I've noticed that something's come up, and then he will just delete the thought. Or it's really hard to describe, but basically the way I describe it is, I actually wrote a blog post about this, and it's the idea of me one and me two. Me one is the person that's doing all the thinking, right? Me one is the person that we all know, which is like, this is Kai Wen, here are his arms, here are his legs, this is his body, this is his facial features, and the words coming out of his mouth are because he's thinking these thoughts in his head, right? Me too is the person that most of us are not acquainted with, right? He's the guy that is aware of me one. He's the person that's able to be aware that, a thought has come and is able to just let it go. I don't think I'm explaining this very well, but you should check out my blog post. Maybe I'll do a better job there. But essentially, having access to be able to operate at the level of me too allows you to create some distance between the person that you commonly think as yourself and this other awareness. And that distance is everything, because let's say you're addicted to sugar or something, and you see a donut, and the thought emerges, well, I want to eat this donut. If you don't realize that there is another part to you, then all you're going to do is just grab onto that donut and eat it. But the me too is able to catch your thought and be like, ooh, a thought has come up, and I'm thinking to myself, I want to eat this donut. Interesting, right? That distance of being able to operate at a level of me too allows you the freedom to choose, right? Me too might think, well, okay, I really like donuts, and I've earned my right to eat a donut today because I went to the gym. So let's eat a donut. And the action is the same in that case. But me too could equally say, hey, like, that's just a thought. Just let the thought go. And then in 5 minutes time, you won't even be thinking about a donut. So that distance gives you the freedom to choose what you want to do in that situation. And, I've become a lot more calmer as a person over time. And I think this is probably the primary reason I've become a lot more calm as a person, not just on the outside, but also within. It's because of that distance. To say that something bad has happened, or, well, actually, technically speaking, it's no good or bad. They're just little stories we create for ourselves. Something has happened outside of my expectation, right? I expected things to go this way. They went that way. Therefore, I'm going to be pissed off about it. I'm going to get angry. Well, not really, right? Things are just happening, and it's just little stories that you're creating for yourself that's causing you all the emotion and all the drama within you. So being able to watch yourself from here, rather than being immersed in this, gains you the distance to not react to something, which oftentimes, just makes the situation worse, right? Being angry is not very constructive. So as much as I can, not perfect, but more and more I can tap into my me too and say, hey, like, I don't need to react to this, right? All right, fine, the shit's happened, but I don't need to get angry about this. I'll just deal with it. So, so these are some of the cool things that you can start to experiment and play with yourself as you get deeper into meditation. And the other thing is, like, if you follow me all throughout the day today, let's say, you'll be like, hey, Kaiwen, like, you didn't meditate today. I didn't see you sit down, close your eyes, cross-legged, and do the thing like in a quiet room. And you'll be right, because nowadays I don't meditate, not in the strict sense of the word, the way that people describe meditation commonly. But I am meditating all the time. So I am meditating when I'm swimming. I try not to think about anything and just really enjoy the time I spend in the water, focusing on my breath, focusing on the sensation of the water as my arms enter the water on each stroke, focusing on the sensation of my feet kicking the water. Meditation is nothing but a state of being. So therefore, it's available to anybody, anytime, if you just know how to tap into it. So that's my little rant today on meditation. I hope you found that useful. Certainly, I'm not, at the end of my journey. I know a lot of other people have experienced much more extraordinary things when they're in a deeply meditative state. And perhaps one day the urge will come back for me to return to a more formal form of meditation, where again, I sit back down every day and have this disciplined practice. But for now, I'm very happy to just have picked up this neat little tool of just being able to sort of, tap out of myself and just watch it from here. I mean, that is incredibly useful skill to have. And it doesn't take that long, a couple of months of disciplined practice. And you too may find that, you'll be experiencing reality in a whole different way. And it's quite refreshing. There was a quote that I like to end this video on, right? I'm trying to do this, trying to give you just a pocket full of wisdom before I go each time. And the quote says, first you know it, then you understand it, then you can explain it, and then you can feel it. Finally, you are it, right? So I think this applies as much to meditation as anything else, where in the beginning, you just know it, like, okay, people have explained to me meditation, this is what meditation is. Then you begin to maybe read up on it. Maybe you watch a couple of videos and you read a few books and you begin to understand what meditation is. That's the understanding part of it. What I'm doing to you right now is explaining it, which is explaining my experience with meditation. So that's the explanation part. And then you transcend to feeling the experience, feeling the meditation, recognizing that it's a state of being. And then maybe in the end, we become meditation. That is to say that you can remain in a meditative state all the time, right? Something that I'm still working towards, but I definitely see that as a possibility to live into. So that's my video on meditation. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.